So Sarah, Tessah, we've been talking a lot about following these little bites of information where we go. With all the information that's out there, our personal opinions aside, how do you gauge between what information is out there that's good and what information is not?
That's a really tricky question to answer, because when you're starting out in a new field, a lot of times people gravitate to things that feel right, or they feel easy, or they feel comfortable, but those might not necessarily be the true or correct or best ways to do things. So it can be really difficult to find good information and to identify it. One of the ways that you can evaluate good information is to find a source that uses some kind of performance metrics that are measurable. It's easy to say, well, you know, I've been in the military, or I've been a cop for 20 years, so clearly I know what I'm doing. Well, okay, but can you perform to a standard? Sure. And how does your performance compare to other people? And, you know, what are the metrics that you're using to evaluate your performance? Because the gun world is one of those areas where it's very easy to do the same thing wrong for 30 years in a row and then say that you have 30 years of experience. But, you know, one of the things I look for in a source of information is A, can they perform to a high level themselves? And B, are they growing and changing? You know, that's so important. You know, if you're watching somebody that's been teaching the same thing and you go through their YouTube channel and it's the same information for 10 years in a row, that's probably a red flag. What you want to find is somebody who stays up to date with the current best practices, who continues to learn, who credits other sources, and who is clearly not a one-man or woman show, but is somebody who is mindful and thoughtful and a part of the community.
Well, and understanding all of the different components that go into it, right? There is more than one way, right, and there is more than one option, and that applies just as much to marksmanship, to also what are we putting on our bodies as part of that everyday carry, right? Is it strong or is it flexible and trendy, right? Because trendy isn't always better.
I think something that's important to say, or just useful to say, is that we require out of any other professional in any other kind of industry or practice to continue to learn. My mom has been a labor and delivery nurse for 35 years, and she has to continually take classes on how to deliver a baby, how to resuscitate a baby. Like, she's done that for 30 years, but she has to continue to gain knowledge on that. You can't become stagnant. And so I think it's really important to highlight that we want to be looking for that and requiring that out of people that we're consuming information from, but also to look into ourselves and want to require that of ourselves, that, you know, if we're going to be a self-defender, if we're going to carry a gun on our body, that we would continue to want to learn, that we don't just stop where we feel comfortable, but that we would continue to take small bites.
It's almost that believe in yourself, right? You've chosen to do something and you've gone through your life. Everybody has to go through change. They have to go through adversity. They have to go through something to get to that next step, right? So it's almost trusting yourself and believing in yourself that while this is intimidating, you've done other intimidating things, right? Believe in yourself to go find that information, follow your gut. You know, if it smells rotten, it's probably rotten. If you like it, then continue to follow it and just find the things that make sense and that, like you said, have a performance metric or some layer of metric that is that mind, body, emotional check for you of like, hey, I got this. This is squared away and I understand all this information. Sarah, Tessah, we could talk for hours. There's so much information, but this was great. Thank you for taking the time to have a conversation and share some information. Go be empowered. Find the confidence and trust yourself. You can do it too.